Hello. Here to sense spring is springing, and there's been so much rain and wet and wind that we'll just kind of move with the flow today. I got my flowy sacral pants on for you. So the way that we'll operate in each series this morning, we will set down our roots and then flow within that series, just to get a little groundedness and a little movement to try to be grounded and flexible at the same time. So we will start in Sukhasana, and blocks, we don't need them right this very second, but have yours on a long edge of your mat and high up like this. Whether you use them that way or not will be up to you, but just kind of have them at the ready for when we move through a little bit of Skandasana. So find your seat and let your hands rest palms up on your knees. And find a little wiggle left to right, front to back, to really settle down into your sitting bones. And grow tall. You can let your eyes close if you like. No particular way of breathing today. Just letting it move in and swirl around however it wants to. Just kind of letting it move naturally today. And bring your attention to your sitting bones. And as you grow taller and taller with each inhale, send your roots down with each exhale. Not only finding support from your mat, the floor, the ground beneath that, but finding strength and nourishment from that too. A few more rounds of easy breath. And let your hands, your palms face down on your knees and start a little bit of circling. Let's go clockwise with the torso here at first. They can be small, they can be big, they can start small and get big. But just moving with your breath, maybe inhaling on the way forward, exhaling on the way back. Or whatever natural breath pattern you settle into. Mine actually turned out to be the exact opposite. I'm exhaling forward and inhaling as I sit up. So whatever works for you. One more time around. And switch the feet. Other foot in front. Find your sitting bones again. Find the sides of your feet. Find the ground beneath you. And a couple of breaths. And moving counterclockwise. And your breath pattern might be different here, just let it be. We're not gonna try too hard today to match anything with anything else. We're just gonna kind of move and breathe, and however that turns out is how it turns out. And a couple more times around. Find yourself in the middle, grow tall, inhale. And exhale, hands come down. We'll roll over onto hands and knees. And spread your fingers wide, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, just like we always do. Keep your toes turned under, so the pads of your toes are down on the ground, or a couple of them anyway. I have only really just my first and second toes on there, but have them at the ready so that we can inhale here in tabletop and exhale into down dog. Let your heels sink down, let your knees soften and your tail reach up. Find length from your wrists to your hips. And on your inhale, lower back down to your tabletop. Exhale back to down dog. And then we'll move with the breath. Inhale, table. Exhale, down dog. And if you find that your tabletop makes your down dog too short, move wherever you need to move. Inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way back. One more round. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. And walk yourself forward all the way to the top of your mat into a forward fold. So knees super soft here, maybe belly resting on the thighs. Arms are up to whatever they want to get up to. Maybe a ragdoll, maybe they're just resting on the mat or on the shins. Heavy head. Inhale, halfway lift. Find a long spine, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold. Inhale into standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. So a couple half sun salutations here. Inhale up. Soft knees, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. This time we change. Inhale up. Soft knees, long spine, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, right foot steps back, lower down onto your knee, untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fingertips come just to meet behind you. And notice when you're trying to get fingers toward one another, they may not touch. Elbows don't have to be straight, anything like that. Notice what happens in other places in your body when you do that. But grounding through the left foot, the top of the right foot. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fingertips reach toward one another or touch behind. Inhale up. Exhale, reach back. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, hands on the inside of the left foot. Back toes turn under. Step to the outside of the right hand. Lower down into your malasana. So if you have your block handy and you want to sit on it instead of dangling here in this squat, or if you just don't want to come all the way down today, grab your block, pop a squat, bring your palms to touch and your thumbs toward your heart toward the thumbs, pressing the backs of the arms into the legs. Find an inhale. Exhale, hands come down, hips come up. Bring feet back to hips distance. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale into standing. Hands to heart. Inhale up. Exhale, soft knees. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time, step the left foot back, lower down onto the knee, untuck the toes. Press actively down into the heel of the right foot. Inhale, lift up. So we don't have to be down in this super forward lunge. You can be upright and supported. Depends on what you and your left hip decide what to get up to today. Inhale, lift. Exhale, maybe fingertips touch behind, maybe they don't. Maybe you notice this side feels totally different. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, reach behind. Inhale. Exhale. One more round. Inhale. Exhale, fingers touch or not. Inhale up. Exhale, hands come down on the inside of the right foot. This time we step back into a tabletop. So if wrists are getting fussy, go ahead and pop your blocks underneath your hands for a little support. But make knees a little bit wide here. And bring your focus to your hips. So sending your belly down, so tilting the top of the pelvis forward, the tail kind of lifts up. Send your hips over to the left and look over your left shoulder. See if you can kind of spy your left leg there. Exhale, round and come into a cat. Eye gaze is kind of between the knees. Shift hips over to the right, look over to the right. And back into this cow shape. So the chest can join in. It kind of has to join in. But let the focus be on the hips here. So find this little cow shape in the low spine, and then hips to the left. Find your roundness, hips to the right, and back to center. This might feel really unnatural. If you're inclined to go the other direction, which we will here in a second, and you can kind of check it out on your own. So one more of these. Stop yourself in the middle. Find that little sag. I guess sag is probably not the right word, because we want it to be energized. We want it to be supported. But find that tilt in the pelvis where the tail lifts and the belly comes down. And look over your right shoulder, hips to the right. Find a cat. Look to the left and come to the center. And that may feel a whole lot more natural to you. I suspect that lefties will prefer one way and righties will prefer another way. This way is so much easier for me to do, so I should probably do it the other way more often. But it's just curious, not really making a judgment about it, just interesting. One more circle. And then make your way to child's pose. Bring your hands down by your sides if that's comfortable for you. Make fists and kind of roll your wrists. So we'll make this child's pose be a multitasking one today. We find some compression in the hips. We find a little length in the spine, some relaxation, but also a little love for the wrists. And make your way back up into a tabletop. And into a down dog. Bring your right foot into the center of the mat. Step your left foot between your thumbs and walk into a wide leg forward fold. So here's where the blocks come into play. First, bring toes to face forward and pinky toe edges line up with the edges of your mat. And come as high up here on these blocks as you can to make this nice long spine. So from the base of the skull to the tail, we have this long line that's parallel with the ground. Inhale, maybe lift up a little bit more. Exhale, fold. And you don't have to go into your very deepest fold right this second, because we're coming right back up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, get long. Exhale. Maybe the fold deepens, maybe it doesn't. Inhale up. This time when you come down, stay. And hands don't need to be on the blocks if you don't feel it. But pressing into the outer edges of the feet. See what happens when you dial the sitting bones up a little bit. They're probably not really gonna go anywhere. But energetically, your legs, the back of your legs may beg to differ. It may feel like a lot of movement to them. Just check it out. Let your head hang, maybe a little traction for your cervical spine in the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, come back up, find your blocks again. This time, let toes kind of turn out to the side. Maybe shorten your stance a little bit. Depends on how comfortable you are with Skandasana and what's happening in your hips, inner thighs. Take an inhale breath. On your exhale, bend, oh yeah, I gotta make that shorter. Bend your right leg. Come as low or as high as you like, but extending that left leg, lifting toes up toward the ceiling. Inhale into center, straighten both legs. Exhale over to the left. So here's where these blocks might come in handy. They can walk with you. Inhale up to center, over to the right. Moving back and forth. At your own breath pace, at your own depth. Inhale up, exhale down. Keep moving back and forth. If there is a spot where you would just really want to stay and explore that static posture, do that. Or keep moving back and forth until you feel like you've evened out. Come back into center. Walk your blocks up to the top of the mat. Come back into your tabletop. And make your way to your seat. Find your blocks again. Shouldn't be too hard. You just left them. And bring soles of the feet together, and your blocks, the kind of the flat edge resting on the outer thigh, outer calves, and then the I don't know what you would even call it, the corner resting on the floor. So we're in this kind of supported Baddha Konasana, and we walk, slowly, slowly, slowly. You're gonna have to probably move your buns this way or that to make that a sustainable thing. But coming into a supported bound angle, and maybe hands rest behind your head. So we find this opening in the upper chest too. Or arms can be out to a T, or anywhere they want to be. Just let your breath come here. And notice how your feet are gently touching one another. How the support of the blocks maybe gives inner thighs and hips a little rest. Where they can kind of just move into their natural places. Not trying to hold anything up. Not trying to provide structure for the rest of the body. Just settling down. A nice long spine, maybe some opening across the chest. One more breath here. Stay lying down, and if you can, reach your blocks up those out of the way. And Bring the bottoms of your feet to the mat. And let knees fall side to side. And if you are so inclined to kind of just let knees stay on one side for a breath or two, totally do that and do it on the other side. So everybody gets a chance. We're just kind of rolling from hip to hip, right across the sacrum there. Giving a chance for each hip to kind of open across the front when that knee is down in the middle. And then stop in the middle. Let your knees rest on one another for just a breath or two. Maybe you can still feel yourself sloshing from side to side. Let all that catch up. And kind of settle down into the bowl of your pelvis. And let legs come out long. Let your eyes close. Decide what you want to do with your arms. And return to observing your breath. Just letting it flow in and out any way it wants. Picture in your mind your favorite body of water. It may be as large as an ocean or as small as a brook. Notice the way in which the water moves, the way it holds its own space, the way it impacts that which surrounds it. Notice how the water feels. Is it cool or warm? Is it icy? Is it refreshing? Notice how it tastes. Notice the color of the water and its smell. Be aware of what is carried by the water, small bits of plant or animal, particles of soil or sand. Imagine that you become the water, carrying what it carries, taking its form. In your mind's eye, trace the water back to its source, back through the rivers and lakes and streams and waterfalls, back to its source somewhere in the mountains. Experience yourself as a stream, beginning with rain and melted snow, somewhere high above sea level. As you begin your journey back down, you're but a tiny stream, bubbling with new possibilities, exploring and shaping your own path through crevices in the rock or channels left by glaciers which receded long ago. Feel your power and strength as you shape your own path through the mountains. Feel the changing nature of your being as you grow with the spring melt, contract with the summer drought, and freeze with the depths of winter. You're full of joy, enthusiasm, and energy that can literally move mountains. a few more breaths right where you are. Start to move. Roll to your side when you're ready. Find your way to seated. Finding the ground beneath you one more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull hands to heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace.